Even after 6 decades of post-independence India's history, poverty still remains in the country. We have never been able to completely eradicate the problem of poverty. It has been estimated roughly that around 25% of the people, one fourth of the people in India still live below the poverty line. Please keep in mind the fact that our poverty line has been estimated on the basis of a minimum consumption expenditure, which is required to maintain a minimum standard of living. And it is estimated on the basis of the minimum calorie requirement for a person to live, and that is also separately calculated for the rural and urban sectors. And on the basis of this very minimum estimation of the poverty, we have still around one fourth of our people living below the poverty line. But given the size of the India's population and given the diversities that we have in respect of geographical diversities, linguistic diversities, cultural diversities, and many other structural bottlenecks that we have been facing, it is remarkable that at least we have been able to bring down the extent of poverty in our country. And at the beginning of the India's post-independence history, we had roughly around more than 50% of the people living below poverty line. And over the years, through 5-year plans and through other type of policy interventions, we have been able to reduce the extent of poverty to the level of 25%. In this video, we are going to discuss some of the relevant poverty alleviation schemes which India has introduced over the years. And these are some schemes or programs which have been directly targeted towards reducing the intensity of poverty in our country. Many of these programs are employment generation programs, because we know that it is through employment and it is through augmenting the productivity of the people that the problem of poverty is generally rooted out. So therefore, many of the employment programs are also the poverty alleviation schemes in our country. Let us come to the discussion on these poverty alleviation schemes. First, we will discuss the meaning of these poverty alleviation schemes or programs. What are they aiming at? It's very obvious that poverty alleviation schemes try to create assets that benefit the poor. So instead of directly giving this money in the hands of the people who are poor, we are creating some opportunities to make assets for these people and give skill to the people, give education to the people, give proper health to the people, so that they will be able to work hard, they will be able to work on the assets and will be able to find a livelihood opportunities for them. So this is the main concepts of poverty alleviation schemes. So poverty alleviation schemes are used to create assets that benefit the poor by raising the productivity of the poor through education, public health, and other human resource related measures. A number of programs have been taken for poverty alleviation in our country. And the primary aim of this program is the development of the rural and urban poor people. But most of the poverty alleviation schemes have been introduced keeping in mind the necessity of bringing the rural, urban, especially the rural people out of the bracket of poverty. So development of the target group, that is the rural power, that's a basic objective of all these schemes. Now, generally speaking, poverty alleviation schemes fall into three broad categories. We can classify these schemes into three broad categories. One is those programs which try to increase or create livelihood opportunities for the people so that they become themselves self-employed people. And that is livelihood creation, programs targeting at livelihood creation or giving opportunities for people to be self-employed, giving loans to purchase vehicles, means taxi cabs, and giving loans to start micro enterprises, giving financial assistance for certain kinds of small agri business. And so through that, we are creating a livelihood opportunity for the people. That is self-employment creation. Many of the programs, poverty alleviation programs, come under this category. Programs that target towards create the creation of livelihood opportunities for the people. Second is labor intensive public work schemes. Labor intensive public work schemes means this is a wage programs. Wage program means we know that there are two type of works: capital intensive area and labor intensive. Means in 50s, when we embarked on the second 5-year plan, we had a heavy industry model, and it was criticized that heavy industry model would not create more employment opportunities for the people because such a model was more capital intensive. So here, through this labor intensive public works, we create wage employment to the people, or we promote we promote labor intensive activities. For example, construction of road networks, construction of railways, construction of dams, irrigation projects. So these are areas where we require more labor. So government is expected to start these type of public works so that people get wage employment, daily wage employment in such works. So this is a scheme for the government to directly offer wage employment to the people, that is labor intensive public works. And third is also very important, income transfers. Directly we are depositing or putting money into the hands of the people. Income transfers are mainly for those who are disabled to work, who are not able to work. For example, very old age persons, disabled persons, mentally retarded persons. So in houses where these people live, we have to give them directly money so that they may come out of the poverty situations. So that is income transfers. Today, we are giving much importance to income transfers. You might have you might have heard about certain programs of the government to give directly money to the people, direct benefit transfers. Sometimes we direct transfers of money to the deposits of accounts. Sometimes we may hand over the money directly to the people. Anyway, that is income transfers, or in another way, that is a transfer incomes. That means not factor income but transfer income transfers. So in short, the poverty alleviation schemes fall into three broad categories. One is livelihood creation, second is labor intensive public work schemes, and the third is income transfers. Now the first program, I will discuss around 12 programs here in this video. The first program is very well known. It was very popular. That is Integrated Rural Development Program, IRDP. And this was launched in 1987 with the main objective of creating sustainable employment opportunities for rural poor. The target groups under IRDP consisted of small and marginal farmers, agricultural laborers, and rural artisans living below the poverty line. So it was started in 1987, but in 1999, it was merged with Swarna Jayanti Gram Swarajkar Yojana. So this is a very popular program. And this actually aims at providing gainful opportunities of employment for these marginal farmers, agricultural laborers, rural artisans who do not find work for the full time in a year, because you know that agriculture works are very seasonal in nature. Therefore, a program like IRDP was felt very essential to keep these people out of poverty situations. So with this objective in mind, that in 1987 IRDP program was launched by the government, and in 1999 this program was merged into Swarna Jayanti Gram Swarajkar Yojana. The second important program is Employment Assurance Scheme. It's a kind of uh, it's kind of assuring or ensuring employment to the people. It was launched in 1993. It aims at providing assured employment of 100 days for the poor and unskilled laborers. So it's not a guarantee, but we are assuring that the people would get 100 days of employment. But it's quite different from the NREGS Act. We will discuss about NREGS Act later in another slide. NREGS Act is a mandatory thing, but here there is only an assurance that people will get employment opportunities for 100 days, especially the poor and unskilled laborers. The scheme is open to all men and women who are above 18 years and below 60 years, and it has been universalized. And now the scheme covers all the community development blocks in the country. The third is very famous, Prime Minister's Rozgar Yojana. It is a kind of asset creation program, and it was launched during in 1993 for providing self-employment to educated and unemployed youth. So that's an important provision in PMRY. You must be educated. That means you must qualify the 10th class. SSLC you must qualify to get financial assistance from this PMR under the PMRY scheme to start any business, to start your own self-employment programs. It was designed to provide employment to more than a million persons by setting up 7 lakh micro enterprises in the 8th 5-year plan. Now, the next program is National Social Assistance Program, NSAP. It was started in 1995 as a 100% centrally sponsored scheme for social assistance benefits to the poor households affected by old age, death of primary breadwinner, and maternity care. So this program, NSAP, National Social Assistance Program, is a kind of income transfer programs. That means we give income to the people, income to the old age people, or death means to the houses where the primary breadwinner actually demised, and to those who are in maternity care. So therefore, we give money directly to these people, and this is a kind of income transfer policy to address the problem of poverty. And this was started in 1995, and it is a 100% central scheme. And the program has three main components. One is National Old Age Pension Scheme, National Maternity Benefit Scheme, National Family Benefit Scheme. Now, the next program is Jawahar Rozgar Yojana. It was also very famous, and Jawahar Rozgar Yojana was initiated in 1989. And till then, there had been two programs, that is National Rural Employment Program, NREP, and Rural Landless Employment Guarantee Program, RLEGP. Actually, this JRY, or Jawahar Rozgar Yojana, was initiated by merging together NREP and RLEGP. So these two programs were merged into this JRY program. And this is not a fully centrally sponsored program. It is sponsored both by the central government and state government. And it is said that the expenditure under the program was shared by the center and the states on 80 to 20 basis. That is 80% of the fund would be promoted by the central government and 20% of the fund would be promoted by the state government. The primary objective of the program was the generation of additional gainful employment opportunities for the unemployed and underemployed persons, both men and women in rural areas. Now, Jawahar Gram Samadhi Yojana, JGSY, was introduced in 1999 by restructuring the old Jawahar Rozgar Yojana. And it is also a centrally sponsored scheme, but on a cost sharing basis, it has been introduced. 75% of its cost would be covered by the central government, while 25% would be covered by the state government. The objective of the program are to create durable, productive community assets and generation of wage employment for the rural unemployed people. So two things are here. This can be considered as a livelihood program and wage employment program, because under this program there would be provision to provide assets to the unemployed people, and it would also give wage employment to the people through the promotion of public works activities. Now, Swarna Jayanti Gram Saroskar Yojana, and this was also launched as a merged program in 1999, and the earlier self-employment programs like TRISOM, CITRA, GKY, DWCRA, IRDP, and MYS were merged, and a new self-employment program was started in the name of the Swarna Jayanti Gram Saroskar Yojana in 1999. The main objective of the program is to bring the existing poor families above the poverty line. And the expenditure under this scheme is also shared in the ratio of 75 is to 25. 75% of the fund to carry out the working of this scheme, Swarna Jayanti Gram Saroskar Yojana, would be met by the central government, while 25% would come from the state exchequer. And the eighth program is Sampurna Gramin Rozgar Yojana, SGRY. And this program was also started as a merged program of three important schemes like Jawahar Gram Saroskar Yojana and employment assurance schemes. And these schemes were merged into SGRY, and SGRY came on 15th August 2001. The main objective of this program is to provide additional wage employment in rural areas and a food security mechanism by the creation of durable community, social, and economic assets infrastructure development in rural areas. So this is a wage employment program, and it was started on 15th August 2001. And remember that it is again a merged program of two programs, that is Jawahar Gram Saroskar Yojana and Employment Assurance Scheme. The ninth program has also become very popular, that is Pradhan Mantri Gramodaya Yojana, PMGY. And the main aim of the program, quite different from the other programs which were discussed hitherto. The main aim of this program is to improve the quality of life in rural areas. So it has a broader perspective that apart from bringing the people out of the poverty bracket, this program actually intends to improve the quality of life of the people living in rural areas. And this program was launched in 2000-2001 with the objective of focusing on village level development in 5 critical areas, that is health, primary education, drinking water, housing, rural roads. So providing good health facilities to the people and starting good primary education facilities in rural areas, providing safe drinking water and good housing in rural areas, and good rural connectivity. So through these 5 critical areas, actually this program is trying to increase the quality of the life of the people living in rural areas. The 10th program is also a very broad one. This is called Bharat Nirman. Actually, the people engaging in activities that come under this Bharat Nirman would get wage employment opportunities, and through that, it is expected that they would be able to bring themselves out of the poverty network. And this program is a very big program, and this program completely concentrates on the rural infrastructure, and this covers the areas of irrigation, rural roads, rural housing, rural water supply, rural electrification, and rural communication connectivity. These two things are very new, because we never thought of this rural electrification and rural telecommunication in earlier programs. So this was only in 2005, 2009, we started out thinking about means implementing the programs to electrify the rural houses and to provide communication facilities, telecommunication facilities in rural areas. So Bharat Nirman is a very broad program which intends to provide wage employment to the people through initiating activities means that cover the areas like irrigation, rural roads, rural housing, rural water supply, rural electrification, and rural telecommunication connectivity. Now, this is a very popular one. Everyone knows about these things. We need not discuss much about NREGS, National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. Actually, the Food for Work program, FWP, started in 1977 for creating employment by utilizing the surplus stock of food grains, was restructured and renamed as National Rural Employment Guarantee Program and being implemented since 2005 in our country. So NREGP, the difference is that this is an act, so this has certain legal provisions, because if a person coming under this NREGS program is unable to find jobs for 100 days in a particular financial year, he can raise the same thing before the court and can rectify such anomalies. So therefore, the act actually, when it was introduced, this covered 200 most backward districts in our country, and NREGS, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment, MGNREGS as it is known today, it aims to enhance the livelihood security of people in rural areas by guaranteeing 100 days of wage employment in a financial year to a rural household whose members volunteer to do unskilled manual work. So 100 days of employment that is assured to the members who are registered in MGNREGS. Now, last but least is public distribution system. It's a very wide network which has been in operation in our country to ensure food security to the people. We know that food security is also very important to address the problem of poverty in our country. And public distribution system is a primary social welfare and anti-poverty program of Government of India. It is perceived to be the main safety net to protect the poor from short-run price-induced adverse effects. And two type of public distribution systems have been introduced in our country. One is revamped public distribution system, RPDS, and this has been initiated by the Government of India for the year 1992. The main aim of this program is to serve and provide essential commodities to the people living in remote, backward, and hilly areas. And in 1997, a targeted public distribution system came into being. It actually targets the poor and distributes the essential commodities based on income. And both the central and state governments have been actively involved in steering the operations of the success of the public distribution system. So this is a very famous one, public distribution system. And this system, public distribution system, through the running of the fair price shops, attempts to tackle the problem of poverty in our country, besides that's ensuring food security. Thank you.